creating a small program. So let's have a look at how we can make things, sort of add functions and things like that to ClassPad. So we're going to move over to the programming part of ClassPad, and if you have a look here, you can see there's no programs on my ClassPad at the moment. There's nothing in the name box. So to start a new one, we can tap Edit, New File, and it's a normal type, and folder is main. That's where we'll keep it. So we need to just give it a name, and you can see the keyboard's up down here. So if you've got a copy of the sheet, we've called it NC, and I'd suggest you print off a copy of how to create a small program, the PDF that goes with this video, just to sort of get, be able to copy things out easily. Right, we'll call it NC and OK. Now, if there are any parameters that your program needs, now remember in this case the program's simply going to list out all the coefficients of the sort of nth row of Pascal's triangle. So if there are any variables that need to be passed to the program, we list them in this box here, separated by commas. Now we only have one, and let's call it n, which is going to be the nth row of Pascal's triangle that we require. So we'll pop that one in there. Now on the next line, this is where it's good practice to comment your program so that you can remember what's going on, what everything means. So we need an apostrophe. If we head off to the symbols, here it is, an apostrophe, and then we'll go back to, and maybe we'll just put in today's date, which today for me is the 26th of the 4th, 2015, when I was making this little video. So it's a comment, and maybe at the beginning we can also say this is our version 1.0 of the program, or 1.1. Well, that'll do, we're not too fussed. We'll tap execute a few times. Blank lines and any line beginning with an apostrophe are totally ignored by ClassPad, so it makes it easier to read your program and things like that. Now up here, Control, there are lots of sub menus to save yourself a bit of typing. If you need any of these words, rather than type them in with the ABC tab, we've got them all up here, and sometimes there are sub menus and so on like this. So an input output, there's more again on the input commands, output commands, display commands, drawing commands, sketching commands, clearing, communicating, and coloring, and so on. And miscellaneous has got a few more. Obviously stats, graph and tables, string handling, set up things 2, 3 and 4. So but if you can't find it there, we've always got the ABC tab. Now I'm doing it on a computer, but let's just do a few by hand. So first off, I want my variables not to leak out and mess up the rest of the ClassPad. So I'm going to, in this program, we've got 3, P, I, and N, that we don't want to spoil someone's ClassPad with. So we'll define them as local. So I need a capital L and then local. Now this just means that ClassPad won't let any user variables escape, so it keeps things nice and tidy. P, I, N. Tap execute. So those are the variables we're using in the program, and then we want to clear the text. When we run a program, a little window will appear in the bottom half of the screen to display output. So we want to clear that window. I noticed that was up under one of these, the input output clear text. So let's do that to save me a bit of typing. So that's cleared that window each time we run the program. Now we need an empty list to start off with. So let's head back up to where I can find, here it is, a pair of brackets, and we're going to store that into the variable P. I want a lowercase p for my purposes. So that's this variable here, P. And remember, N was the variable that we asked the users, or will ask the users to give us. Press execute. Now the next one's a bit, we need to loop through all the different elements of the nth row of Pascal's triangle. So we're going to set up a for next loop. Now under control, this is a for, and here's the first command, for, and we want to start from 0, and then I'm going to go back to the Math 1 tab where we've got this store command. So we're going to store 0 into the variable I. So that's the first bit, and then we want a 2. So under the control for 2, that puts the word 2, and at the end we want to put an N. So we're going to loop from I going from 0 to n, the number that the user puts in up here. Now the next one is to, press execute. On the next line we want to augment. So here we go, augment. And we'll open a bracket. So I'll use the bracket from over here. And we're going to augment the variable p, which is a list, comma, with another list. So because it's another list, I need to get a set of curly brackets. And then inside here, we want NCR. Now, NCR lives down over here somewhere. NCR, and the variables are, N is the number we're choosing from. So we need to go back to the ABC tab, N and a comma, and I is the element that we want. Close the brackets there. Finally, we need to close the brackets around this whole augment command. And then lastly, we want to store it back into the variable P. So that's the business line of the whole program, really. To finish off, under control for next. And that's the end of our for next loop. Tap execute a couple of times. Now the work's done. All we need to do is print out the results. So input output, and we want to output a print, and here we go. We'll first give it a message. So from the symbols, I'm going to take a speech mark. Anything in speech marks just gets written as it is onto the screen. So from the this was an NCR, and if we open the brackets, I think, what do we suggest that we're going to put? We're going to put the NCR values, V values, and close the speech marks. Where were they? Under symbol. Tap execute. And then we'll just print out the values of N and R. So here we go. Output print from the ABC. We'll print the value of N first. And these will all appear on their own separate lines. Every time we call the print statement, it'll be on its own line. So we're going to print those out. And then last of all, to actually open up the window when we're in main to display the results, we want to put the command return. So here we, back, where are we? The ABC menu here. Return, I'm not quite sure where this one lives, so I'm just typing it in. Return the value of P, so space P, and tap execute. Our program's done, so we've just got to save this fella now. So we can either tap on the floppy disk or go to edit, save file. But we've done it, hit the floppy disk. So let's exit out, hit the old computer console here. And then we're going to head back to main to actually run it. We can actually, before we go to main, try running it here. In the parameter box, we could put, say, 5, and then press the play up here. And it says done, and you can see the information window open down here, and it's saying here's our message, NCR values, 5 and R. Now I'm not quite sure why I was showing up there. We were meant to print the value of P there. Let me just go back in. So if we think there's something up, if we close that window and we've got the program here, we can tap either edit, where is it, open editor, or like that, or if it's closed, we can just tap with the program selected here on the pencil kind of sheet. Now let's go down and check what I actually put in. I said to print the value of R, which is just R. I meant to say P. So to edit, if any mistakes show up, we tap back, tap onto P. That's better. Let's save that version of it, tap out to the run, and fire it up again. Brilliant, it's working just as we hoped. Now let's just try it in main though. So here we go, we're in main. We want to use our command here or anywhere else for that matter. So we can type in NC, open a bracket, and let's get ambitious, give it some work to do, NC 20. And there it is. So the values of NCR from 0 to 20 are 120, 190 and so on. Fantastic. So to close this window here, we can select it and tap the cross, or if we've run the program up here, we can simply hit resize, and that pushes it back down, the old soft resize at the bottom. Now if the last step is back to menu, back into program here, once you've got your program working nicely, you might want to protect it from sort of being messed up, and also to save a bit of space. So if we edit the program again, the last option is to edit, compress. And this is going to compress our file into an executable. And we've got the option here to save it, a copy of it as a backup, so that if we do need to edit it in the future, we can. So let's call our backup NCB for backup and tap OK. And now if we try to edit this file NC, it says it's impossible because it's a compressed program. But if we choose the backup version of it and tap onto the edit, now we can. And again, it works perfectly the same. If we tap into our variable manager, let's just have a look in the main folder here. You can see that NC itself is taking up 160, the compressed version. The actual kind of editable version of it is almost twice as large, 300 bytes. But again, neither's taking up that much memory. So hope that's got you going with programming. Obviously, you need to consult the ClassPad manual for help with general command syntax, but there are plenty of programming ideas out on the web, and often the best way to learn is just to start with easy programs and work up from there.